Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we're unpacking a story that sits right at the very volatile intersection of global sports and international politics. We're looking at a situation that has completely shattered the usual protocols of the FIFA World Cup. I mean, it's a story so wildly unprecedented that veteran sports broadcasters and political analysts are, frankly, just at a complete loss for words.
Just look at the reaction from Sky Sports News pundit and former player Gary Neville. He said plainly and simply, never seen anything like it. And you know what? He is completely right to be stunned. The sheer shock echoing through the sports world right now is literally palpable. We're dealing with a standard red card on the pitch, a suddenly suspended ban, and the alleged direct involvement of a former United States president. It's a chain of events absolutely nobody had on their bingo card for this tournament.
All of this leads us to the ultimate question driving the entire controversy. Can a politician actually overrule a World Cup referee? Okay, let's dive right into this because the answer seems to be playing out in real time right before our eyes. And the implications? Massive. Not just for the teams involved, but for the fundamental integrity of global sporting rules.
So, here's our agenda for today. We'll start with the red card incident, move on to the presidential phone call, look at FIFA's vague rule suspension, see how the football world reacts, and finally wrap up with the political media fallout.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the red card incident.
So, the player at the absolute center of this whirlwind is 25-year-old Folarin Balogun, the star striker for the United States. During the co-hosts' last 32 match against Bosnia-Herzegovina, a game the U.S. ultimately won 2-0 by the way, Balogun committed a foul that earned him a straight red card. Now, if you follow football, you know the penalty for a straight red card is practically written in stone. It triggers an automatic one-match ban. There's usually no negotiating this, right? You get the red, you sit out the next game. Period.
Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds because it's a truly bizarre 3 days. On day 1, Balogun gets that straight red card against Bosnia-Herzegovina. On day 2, the automatic one-match ban officially applies, meaning he is definitively scheduled to sit out the team's next knockout match. But then, fast forward to day 3, boom, he is suddenly officially cleared to play for the crucial last 16 tie against Belgium. So what on earth happened between day 2 and day 3 to upend a fundamental rule of the game?
That brings us to Section 2, the presidential phone call.
Okay, the timeline shifted abruptly when major news agencies started breaking some seriously shocking behind-the-scenes information. Both AFP and Reuters reported that Donald Trump placed a direct phone call to FIFA President Gianni Infantino, specifically asking for Balogun's red card to be reviewed. Now, this news sent absolute shockwaves through the tournament. The idea of a prominent political figure picking up the phone to directly contact the head of global football over an on-field refereeing decision? It's a staggering breach of conventional norms.
And crucially, this didn't stay as just an anonymously sourced rumor for very long at all. Take a look at this broadcast from LBC. The headline says it all. Donald Trump confesses to pressuring FIFA over red card. He openly admitted to making the call and asking for the review. That brings the massive, undeniable weight of political pressure crashing right down onto a standard football ruling.
Let's look at Section 3, FIFA's vague rule suspension.
And this brilliantly illustrates the jarring disconnect we're seeing right now. Standard protocol dictates an automatic, rigid one-match ban. It's consistent, it's black and white, and it's what every single team competing in the World Cup expects. Yet the actual outcome here was that the automatic ban was abruptly suspended for a year by FIFA, which instantly freed Balogun up to play in the highly anticipated Belgium game.
Now, you might be wondering, how did FIFA legally justify this reversal? Well, the answer is remarkably thin. The definition of a FIFA rule suspension allows the governing body to suspend punishments, but in this specific case, it was utilized with absolutely no other reasoning provided. None. They essentially just cited a rule that says, hey, we can suspend a ban without explaining why they were choosing to suspend this specific ban immediately following a high-profile political phone call. It left an incredible void of information and, frankly, transparency.
Moving right along to Section 4, the football world reacts.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer level of outrage categorized across international sports punditry. ESPN FC led with shady business. The outlet Homie reacted with, damn it, embarrassing. And ESPN UK went right at the very top of the organization stating, Infantino is telling the world we can do what we want. The football community is completely divided and honestly explosive over what many see as a fatal breach of the sport's fairness and integrity.
But it wasn't just sports pundits yelling on television. There were immediate, actionable grievances filed. The Belgian Football Association, who are of course the team the US is facing next, accused FIFA of deliberately ensuring their appeal regarding Balogun's reinstated status was inadmissible. So Belgium is directly challenging the administrative fairness of the governing body right ahead of a crucial do-or-die knockout match. It adds intense, very real competitive friction to an already boiling controversy.
Which brings us to our final section, the political media fallout.
The framing across diverse political media networks shows just how far-reaching the implications really are. Channel 4 News asked a very pointed question: has Trump poisoned the World Cup? BBC Newscast led with, "Are FIFA allowing President Trump to interfere?" And CBS News labeled the situation as the norm-rattling Trump effect on FIFA. Notice that regardless of where these specific networks sit on the ideological spectrum, they're all neutrally reporting on this as a major, undeniable collision between established institutional norms and unprecedented political intervention.
We're even seeing prominent commentators link this single soccer match decision to broader, highly charged domestic political narratives. For example, MS Now framed the red card incident as colliding directly with a war on birthright citizenship. Actually, scratch that. It's not just a collision. It illustrates how quickly a suspended one-match ban on a football pitch can be swept up into much larger, incredibly intense political debates that literally have nothing to do with the sport itself.
So the crucial point is really captured by this simple quote from MS Now: "We didn't need this." I think it perfectly encapsulates the general exhaustion felt by commentators and fans analyzing the situation. You know, the World Cup is traditionally a brief, celebrated escape into pure athletic competition. But this specific controversy has dragged the heavy, complicated weight of politics right out onto the center of the pitch, totally dominating the conversation. But as the dust settles, at least for the moment anyway, we have to ground this explainer back in the factual reality of the tournament ahead. The bottom line for the sport is this: Folarin Balogun is officially available to play against Belgium in the World Cup last 16. Whatever the political motivations, the admitted phone calls, or the vaguely cited rules, the immediate tangible impact is that the U.S. team gets their star striker back on the field for an absolutely critical knockout game. Which leaves us with a lingering thought that will surely outlast this specific match, and maybe even this entire tournament. When sports rules collide head-on with immense political pressure, who really makes the final call? The referee on the pitch or the voices off it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on the pitch, question everything, and I'll see you next time.